Tariq Ramadan's organization, it's because of Charlie Hebdo. Tariq Ramadan's organization, Présence Musulmane, in English it says Muslim Presence, is now mainly based in the Ottawa region. One of the co-founders of Muslim Presence is Salah Basalama, who co-founded the organization with Tariq Ramadan. And Tariq Ramadan, according to still some recent report, according to their own website, as we're speaking, not only was he the founder of the organization, but he's still a contributor to the website. And I think he still gives some advice to the organizers. Why is Tariq Ramadan important? It's because the RCMP and the Ottawa Police Department actually went to the bat to defend him in the early 2000s. And they also, there's the Department of Foreign Affairs that promote Tariq Ramadan, and in a magazine that they publish on their own website, and they call it A Man with a Vision. Now, just to get a taste of, and Tariq Ramadan is very controversial, by the way. He called on, he specifically targeted Muslims not to use Sharia law, the term Sharia, but rather targeted Canada as being one of the easiest legal systems to penetrate in order to advance Sharia principles. And that was published in an Egyptian magazine in 2004. Then he is not saying that he's the grandson of Hassan al-Banna, the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, is not enough. Tariq Ramadan, in a book that he co-authored with Alain Grèche, the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Le Monde Diplomatique, basically says that he endorses everything about his grandfather, his vision, his views, his actions, his preach, his books, his writing. He endorses the entire aspect of everything that Hassan al-Banna stands for. And Hassan al-Banna, well, basically he is known to, he wrote a book on violent jihad. According to Ibrahim Abu Rabi, the deceased, he died a year ago or so, but he was the head of the Islamic department of the Alberta University, who wrote a book on Hassan al-Banna. Says that Hassan al-Banna transformed the role of the mosque from a spiritual center to a center of Islamic revolution. Hassan al-Banna also praised Hitler. He basically also says that once you've implemented Sharia law, the first thing you do, you toss off the leadership of a country in order to, and you replace the constitution by Sharia. And one of the first things that you do also is install, just like in Saudi Arabia and what they've done after the Arab Spring, you implement what they called vice brigades, or if you want, religious police, in order to implement specifically a dress code that is Sharia compliant. So these are the soft angle of Hassan al-Banna, but Hassan al-Banna also justified the use of violence and specifically use jihad in order to force Islam and to force Sharia principles on any other lands in the world. Now that's pretty much the context, but also Tariq Ramadan is very close to Youssef el-Qaradawi. Qaradawi is more influential to the Sunni world than the Ayatollah Khomeini was to the Shia world, if you want, to Iran. And Youssef Qaradawi in 2002 wrote a compendium of fatwas, and the preface of the book was done by Tariq Ramadan in a French book. And that just goes to show that how close they are together. Just recently, the Qatari government, along with Youssef Qaradawi, they started like a chair of Islamic to promote basically Islamic principles around the world. And it's Tariq Ramadan who's basically was nominated to head this, and Youssef Qaradawi was there. Now, who is Youssef Qaradawi? He's the man who endorsed female genital mutilation. He regularly calls on the conquest of the West, sometimes through proselytism, but other times through the use of violence. He's for suicide bombing, specifically against Israel. He is also for killing homosexuals and also killing those who leave Islam. These are all classic, but every time that Youssef Qaradawi sends out a fatwa, for example, that may be a fatwa directed at Christians, we will very often see those Christian churches burned not too long after the fatwas. So that's the kind of individuals that inspire Tariq Ramadan. And Tariq Ramadan considers him a prominent scholar. So recently, Tariq Ramadan, about 2 years ago, in a conference, says that we are not here to adopt American values, because he was in the United States when he says that, but we're rather here to colonize the United States with our values, with our understanding of Islam. Now we can see that his understanding of Islam is related to the Muslim Brotherhood, the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, and Youssef Qaradawi. Now, an organization that he founded, which has a very, very important role in the Ottawa area, is called Muslim Presence. Muslim Presence in Quebec has had a lot of influence. A lot of its members had influence in the government when they wanted to have different debates on society and so on and so forth, specifically to implement Islamophobia as a hate crime. But this said, they just published an article 2 years ago, right after the arson attack, on the Charlie Hebdo newspaper. They were specifically targeting the Charlie Hebdo newspaper, and here's what was written. No, Charlie, your caricature is a pure fraud. Furthermore, it is a marketing scheme that will cost the lives of those who believe that one may laugh at everything with everybody. It is a declaration of war, a war of religion that no free expression in the world may be proud of. Assume your choice. Then they add, no, Charlie, if offending is the expression of your freedom, then admit that violence will be the expression of their freedom. It is a trade of bad practices. No, do not say but. Assume your choices. Now, this is a call to violence. It's a call to violence. It's definitely a call to respond to caricature, who, when they feel offended, they give themselves the right to use violence to respond to this.